Hello friends, welcome to my channel Eccentric Learning. Many videos on various quantitative aptitude topics like percentages, profit and loss, simple interest, compound interest, ratio proportion variation, and many more has already been uploaded. I hope you guys are going through it. If not, some of the videos link has been given in the description box. Please go through it. Also, if you like my videos, then do subscribe my channel and also share with your friends. In today's video, we are going to learn about averages, how to find the average of a group of numbers using assumed average method. We'd be also saying weighted average, and we'll be doing some word problems based on these concepts. So let us start with today's video. Average. Average is nothing but a simple way of representing a group of numbers by a single number. For example, say in a class there are 5 students and these 5 students had scored, say, 80, 90, 70, 75, and 85 marks in a subject. So I want to find what is the average marks a student has got in this subject. So the average marks of the students can be simply written as sum of all the marks of all these 5 students upon the total number of students. So we can say that this would be simply 80 plus 90 plus 70 plus 75 plus 85 upon the total number of students, which in this case would be 5. So if you take the sum of the numerator, this would be 400 and the denominator is 5. So this would be 80. So that means on an average, the student has got 80 marks in this particular subject. So in this way, we can calculate the average, which is nothing but sum of all the items in the group upon the number of items in the group. Also, we can see that the average 80 lies between the highest number 90 and the lowest number 70. So it would be always true, that is, the average will always lie between the highest and the lowest number in the group. There is also one more way of calculating the average, and that method is called as the assumed average method. Now let us see this assumed average method of finding the average of a group of numbers. So in the assumed average method, we assume an arbitrary number and then we take the deviations or the differences of these given numbers from this arbitrary number. And then we take the averages of all these deviations and we add it to the arbitrary number to get the correct average of the given numbers. So for this particular example, let us assume that the assumed average of these 5 numbers is 80. So now let us try to take the deviation of these numbers from the assumed average. So this would be 80 minus 80, which would be 0, 90 minus 80, which would be plus 10, 70 minus 80, which would be minus 10, 75 minus 80, which would be minus 5, and 85 minus 80, which would be plus 5. Now we need to take the average of these 5 differences. So this would be 0 plus 10 minus 10 minus 5 plus 5 upon the total number of numbers, which is 5. So this 10 and 10 get cancelled, 5 and 5 get cancelled. So this would be 0 upon 5, that is 0. So that means whatever the average we have assumed is the correct average of this 5 numbers. In this case, we have assumed the average to be 80, but we can assume any number between the highest and the lowest number. So now let us assume that the assumed average of this 5 numbers is, say, 85, and let us try to see, are we getting the same average or not? So in this case, I need to take the difference of these 5 numbers from the assumed average. So this would be 80 minus 85, so that would be minus 5, 90 minus 85, so that would be plus 5, 70 minus 85, which would be minus 15, 75 minus 85, which would be minus 10, and 85 minus 85, which would be 0. So now let us try to see the average of these 5 numbers. So this would be minus 5 plus 5 minus 15 minus 10 plus 0 upon the total number of numbers, which is 5 again. So this would be minus 5 plus 5 get cancelled out. Minus 15 minus 10 plus 0 will give us minus 25 upon 5, which is minus 5. So whatever the number we have assumed, we need to add this minus 5 to this assumed average to get the correct average of these 5 numbers. So in this case, this would be 85 plus minus 5. So this would be 85 minus 5, which would be 80. So we can see that we are getting the same average of these 5 numbers, whether we are taking the assumed average to be 80 or 85. We need to choose the assumed average number in such a way so that the calculation part becomes easy. So that's why whenever we need to find the average of big numbers like 3-digit, 4-digit, 5-digit, or more than that, in such kind of cases, we can use the assumed average method, as it will reduce the time to a significant extent. Okay, so now let us see what is weighted average. Suppose there are two sections in a class, section A and section B. In section A, the number of students are say 40, and in section B, the number of students are say 60. Suppose in section A, the average age of all these 40 students is say 20 years, and in section B, the average age of all these students is say 25 years. Now, I want to find what is the average age of the entire class. So in such kind of cases where we need to find the combined average of the entire group, in such cases we can use weighted average. So in this case, the average age of the entire class can be written as 40 times of 20 plus 60 times of 25 upon the total number of students in these two sections A and B, which is 40 plus 60. So if you calculate this, this would be 800, and this would be 1500 upon 100. So this would be 2300 upon 100, which would be 23. So that means if I want to calculate the average age of the entire class, this would be 23 years. So in such kind of cases, we can use the concept of weighted average. If I want to generalize this for two items, I can write the weighted average P to be P1 Q1 plus P2 Q2 upon Q1 plus Q2, where P1 P2 are the value of the items 1 and 2 respectively, and Q1 and Q2 are the quantities of item 1 and 2 respectively. I can extend this to more than two items, in which case the weighted average P can be written as P1 Q1 plus P2 Q2 plus P3 Q3 and so on upon Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 plus and so on. So in this way, we can find the average of the entire group. Also, instead of taking this actual quantity 40 and 60, if I take the ratio of this 40 and 60, I'll be getting the same weighted average. So let us take the ratio and see whether we are getting the same weighted average or not. So the ratio of 40 and 60 would be 2 and 3. So now let us try to find the weighted average simply by taking the ratio. So this would be 2 times of 20 plus 3 times of 25 upon 2 plus 3. So if you calculate this, this would be 40 plus 75 upon 5. So this would be 115 upon 5, which is same as 23. Same which we have got when we have taken the actual quantity. So instead of taking the actual quantity, we can also take the ratios of the quantities, and we will be getting the same weighted average. Okay, so now let us see some questions based on the concepts that we have learned. Okay, so let us start with this question. In an examination consisting of 8 subjects, Ankit scored 80, 81, 82, 84, 75, 85, 75, and 86 marks. Find his average score. So to calculate the average score, we can simply use the average formula, which would be the sum of all these numbers divided by the total subjects, which would be 8, to get the average. But instead of that, let us try to use the assumed average method to calculate the average score of Ankit in all these 8 subjects. So here the lowest number is 75 and the highest number is 86. So we can assume any number between 75 and 86 as the average will lie between the lowest and the highest number. So let us assume that the average of all these numbers to be 80, say. So using the assumed average method, we need to calculate the deviation of all these numbers from the assumed average. So this would be 80 minus 80, which would be 0, 81 minus 80, which would be 1, 86 minus 80, which would be plus 6. So we need to calculate the average of these 8 numbers now. So this would be 0 plus 1 plus 2 plus 4 minus 5 plus 5 minus 5 plus 6 upon the total number of numbers, which is 8. So this 5 and 5 will get cancelled. This 1 plus 2 plus 4, so that will give us 7 plus 6, that is 13. 13 minus 5, that is 8 upon 8, that would be 1. So this 1 has to be added to the assumed average now. So this would be 80 plus 1, which would be 81. So the average marks in all these 8 subjects scored by Ankit would be 81. You guys can check this answer simply by using the formula of average and can verify your answer. Okay, so now let us say this question. The average age of a group of 10 friends is 25 years. A new friend joins them and their average age increases to 26 years. What is the age of the new friend? So here we can simply apply the formula of average. So the average age of the group of 10 friends is 25 years. So we can say that the sum of the age of these 10 friends would be simply 25 into 10, which would be 250. Now, when the new friend joins them, the average age increases to 26 years. So we can say that now the sum of the age of these 11 friends, as initially there was 10 friends and one friend joined them, so there would be 11 friends and the average is 26 years. So this would be 26 times of 11, which would be 286. So we can say that the age of the new friend would be simply the difference of these two numbers, which would be 286 minus 250. So that would be 36. So in this way, we can simply find the age of the new friend simply by using the formula of average, which is the sum of all numbers upon the total number of numbers. Okay, so now let us see an alternate way of doing the same sum without calculating these numbers. It has been given that the average of these 10 friends is 25 years, and when the new friend joins them, the average increases to 26 years. So that means the average increased by 1 year. If the new friend's age would have been 25 years, in that case, the average of all these 11 friends would have remained the same, that is 25 years, but it has increased to 26 years. So I can say that the new friend has the age of 26 plus some additional number. This additional number is being distributed to all these 10 friends equally, and their average increases from 25 to 26. That is, plus 1 has been increased for all these 10 friends. So I can say that this 1 has been given to all these 10 friends. So 1 into 10, that is 10 years, which has been coming from this additional number. So we can say that the new friend's age would be simply 26 plus this 10, which would be 36. So in this way, we can directly find the age of the new friend. So we can see that simply by using the concept, we can reach to the answer very easily. So that's why I would request you all to understand the shortcut method as well, along with the normal method, as in case of complex questions, knowing this approach would be very helpful. Okay, so now let us see this question. The average weight of all workers in 3 departments A, B, C of an organization are 50 kg, 60 kg, and 40 kg respectively. If the number of workers in these 3 departments is 40, 70, and 90 respectively, then find the average weight of workers in the entire organization. That means we need to find the average weight of workers in these three departments together. So we can see that this is simply a case of weighted average. So we can directly apply the formula of weighted average. Also, in case of weighted average, instead of taking the actual quantity, we can take the ratios of these quantities. So in this case, the ratio of 40, 70, and 90 would be simply 4:7:9. So the weighted average of the weight of workers in these three departments A, B, C would be simply 4 into 50 plus 7 into 60 plus 9 into 40 upon 4 plus 7 plus 9. So if you calculate this, this would be 980 upon 20, which will give us 49 kgs. So that means the weighted average of the weight of workers in these three departments is 49 kg. So in such kind of questions, we can directly apply the concept of weighted average. So in today's video, we have seen the concept of averages, assumed average, weighted average, and we have also seen some questions based on this concept. But I would request you to practice more and more questions, because the more you practice, the more you learn. So I hope you have learned something in today's video, but if you have any confusion, you can watch the video again, and still if you have any doubts, you can put it in the comment box. I will try to answer each one of your queries. So if you like my videos, then do subscribe my channel and also share with your friends. I'll see you all in my next video. Till then, keep learning, keep sharing, and keep growing. Thank you.